Good evening. We've had a landmark judgment from our Supreme Court. The Supreme Court has struck down electoral bonds, effectively calling them unconstitutional and saying that they're undemocratic and they take away the citizens' right to know. And remember, right to information is a fundamental right in our law. The Supreme Court struck down electoral bonds, declaring them unconstitutional, and has made some specific announcements and changes. Let me take you through them. First of all, SBI, which is the bank that has been accepting and selling these bonds so far, will have to stop doing so immediately. SBI will also, in the next 3 weeks, have to release information of every single bond that has been bought since April 2019, and the person who bought them and the currency denomination in which it was bought. SBI will also have to declare and disclose every single bond that was encashed by a political party and when. The Election Commission will have to publish all of this information on its website in 4 weeks flat. Electoral bonds with a validity of 15 days, which have not been encashed so far, will have to be refunded and the political party can no longer use them. This is what the Supreme Court had to say. The Chief Justice of India said the electoral bond scheme violates freedom of speech and expression under Article 19(1). He's also said that political parties, for financial contributions to political parties, are made either to support the party or for quid pro quo, which basically means someone pays them money, and when they come into power, they return the favor by making favorable decisions and laws to suit the someone who paid them that money, which is why, as citizens, it's important for us to know who is giving our political parties money so we can make informed choices. The Supreme Court also came down really hard on the laws that had been modified to allow corporates to put in as much money as they wanted without any restrictions, and said that the companies have graver political influence. Joining me right now are two very important guests who will help us understand what the impact of this is. We have Clyde Crasto, who's the national spokesperson of the NCP of the Sharad Pawar faction, and RTI activist and former Chief Information Officer of India, Mr. Shailesh Gandhi. Thank you, both of you, for joining us. Mr. Gandhi, my first question is to you. Have the horses already bolted before we are locking the stable doors, or do you think this judgment is going to now actually result in us getting access to this information?
I wish I could be optimistic about this, because I am a transparency person and I have a firm belief that more transparency would do India good. But I have grave doubts that this judgment will be implemented in the nearby future. This is because of the judicial delays that are endemic to our country. We live in a kind of fairy tale world where we say we got a good decision, okay, everything. Let me just give you one example of this. When the government does not want to act as per the court's directives, what happens? 10 decisions had been given by me as Information Commissioner in 2011, asking RBI to declare defaulters lists, audit reports, inspection reports, etc., etc. They challenged this. 2015 December, the Supreme Court, in a landmark order, said we uphold all the decisions of the Commission and have nothing to change. Since then, this information is still not being given. The RBI first asked for a review, which was turned down by the Supreme Court. Then people filed a contempt petition against RBI, and the Supreme Court said, we are warning you, we'll take strict action if you continue like this. But even now, some cases in courts are continuing. It's very easy to defy court's orders, and this is what I suspect the government will do, because this will open a lot of Pandora's box, and this is something which they will not want to appear as if losing this kind of case, especially close to the election. So I'm almost certain, I wish this were true. When I first read it, I was very happy. But then I thought for a little while and said, let me become a little more realistic and look at the scenario. And I suspect it will not get implemented. Maybe 5 years later, 10 years later, we'll see some outcome of this.
It's very interesting because there is buzz right now that both SBI and the Election Commission are likely to go back to court and ask for more time, saying 3 weeks is not enough to pass it.
I can second guess them completely. And there's another reason which is equally dangerous. The Supreme Court, in various ways, has tied itself up into circles and knots in terms of what is private, what is privacy, what is personal.
Oh.
In a variety of decisions, the current RTI Act says personal information is exempt provided it is not part of public activity. Most public records are part of public activity. It is invasion on privacy. And to figure out what is privacy, even the Puttaswamy judgment laid down various guidelines. But effectively, it said for what is privacy, we can't say exactly. It will be decided on a case to case basis.
Yeah, yeah. In
So the
fact,
way
one of the arguments, yes, one of the arguments is that the people that there will be an appeal in the court saying retrospectively, if you do this, someone who has already
that's my
donated.
third ground. Let me just finish the second ground.
Yes, yes,
The
please.
Supreme Court, in a variety of decisions, has said that 81J means, there was a caveat to this, which said information that cannot be denied to Parliament or state legislature shall not be denied to any individual. This was meant to safeguard and guide a person who's to give information. The Supreme Court, in various rulings, has said all personal information can be barred. All personal information, and personal, they define as not just a natural person, a company, a state, HUF, everything except a stone is personal. So everything is personal. Information relating to personal is personal. What is left?
What is left? Because all of this, then, information that has been asked
Yeah.
for would technically fall under the personal purview. Clyde Crasto, how much of an impact do you think this will have on the upcoming Lok Sabha elections, if at all?
Well, I don't see it having too much of an impact in terms of, see, here the fact is we as an opposition will raise it, okay? But now what we see in this current dispensation government, they do as they please. I mean, they'll keep, okay, you're saying this, fine, I hear you, but I'm going to do what I have to do. I want to take you back, and, Shailesh Bhai also said a lot of things, you mentioned a few things, but, the RBI, like they went to the Supreme Court, but there was a time when the RBI had different governors who saw logic, who saw sense. And during that time, when this thing came up in 2018, the RBI actually told the then finance minister, Arun Jaitley, that this scheme is not the right path to go, because this could be some sort of funnel to bring in black money into the political system. So I think we should not go that route. That's what the RBI told Arun Jaitley, but he just looked the other way, and this thing has come up. And the strange part is privacy they're talking about, right? But the point here is, at least you should know the money. At what time and why are they giving tomorrow? If you and said, at that time I did this for you. The secrecy is only when. Okay, can you hear me now?
So we're having some trouble with your audio. Let me come back to you while my team works on that. Yeah, and I'll just take the question to Shailesh Gandhi. Shailesh Gandhi, here's a question: Can SBI, choose not to give out this information if it's been asked to do so by the Supreme Court?
Oh, there are lovely devices that the judicial system has. They will ask for a review, or maybe there will be 10 other judicial devices, law devices that they can use. And also, I see one clear flaw in this judgment. It asks for past information to be revealed. The court takes 7 years to decide. How is an average citizen or corporate supposed to behave? If you are told that this is secret and it will not be revealed, and after 7 years you get a court judgment that says, no, it has to be revealed. How can something like this ever be there? The problem is the court delays. The court should have decided this in 6 months' time.
Yes.
It takes 7 years. You have given money, corporates or whoever has given the money has given it on the assurance that this will not be divulged. And the court suddenly wakes up and says, no, because we say so, after 7 years now we've woken up, make it transparent. How can this work? I see a flaw in the judgment itself.
Also, given the fact that the court's first interim order came in 2019, and it has taken that long to get a final order, and this is the period, the window of information that the court is asking for. So it's possible that people will argue that, hey, when I put the money in, I didn't know you were going to make my details public like this, so this is actually not fair. Clyde, here's a question. There was an argument saying that if an individual donates to one political party and their information becomes public, they will be targeted by another political party or the opposing political party. Do you believe that that might be an argument that will come up again now? Is
No,
there
I
a
don't
risk
think
of that?
so. I don't think so, Faye. The thing is, you know what? I don't think any individual, if you see, we are looking at corporate houses, or we are looking at individuals who are in business, who are actually trying to fund the government so they get something out of it. So you have people who are giving funds to every political party. They may give, the quantum may be different in size. You know, if you're in power, you get a larger amount of money, and you're not in power, you get less, but then gets covered up. What I was trying to say when I was getting cut off was, see, there's this privacy thing about when you buy the bond from the bank. Okay, the bank knows who you are, but they are not allowed to disclose your name to the political party. But if somebody has actually funded a political party, he or she or the corporate house will go and tell that party that, listen, I have funded you, so I need help. So, this kind of things will continue. And this is what the RBI then had told Arun Jaitley, but they looked the other way. And look at the details that have come out in front of us. The party that has actually benefited the most out of all this is Bharatiya Janata Party. I mean, I usually don't carry things that are written down, but I'm going to read it out to you. I actually brought this, to tell you. I mean, if you look at all the funds that have come in from in the financial year 2018-2019, BJP got 1,450 crores. The next year, 2,555. COVID was less than 1,032 crore, then 1,294 crores till 22-23, and a total of about 6,564 crores have been given to the Bharatiya Janata Party. And as compared to that, the Congress, the biggest party probably at one time, has got minuscule amount. Trinamool Congress is actually, a little better than that. So the point here is, who's benefited out of this? And that's what the question we've been raising all the time, that there is a particular political party that is benefiting from this. Fair enough. If the laws are there, laws are equal for everybody. So if you're going to keep it in the ambit of, being disclosed, or and let the people know, then everybody's funds will be open. Everybody will know who's funding whom. And that was the clause earlier, that more than 20,000 rupees, if you give a political party, you have to disclose where it is coming from, and let that be that way. Why not? And when I'm talking, I'm also from a political party. So if I'm saying it should be disclosed, it applies to me also. So I'm open about it. And let's go that way. And Shailesh Bhai said, it's something that you don't know if it will be implemented. I agree with him. I mean, they are doing as they please. They will obviously appeal to, again, and it will go on. But the point here is, at the end of the day, the voters are the ones who are suffering. We are trying to talk about the Right to Information Act. I mean, under Article 19(1)(a), this is my opinion now, personal opinion, but I feel that somewhere BJP needs to stop taking the people of this country for granted. They need to stop fooling people. I mean, if they are talking about transparency, like nahi khaunga, khane nahi dunga, then they should be open about it.
So, but Clyde, tell me this, and this is someone called DK is asking these questions on my timeline right now. They're saying, how much did the NCP get from the electoral bonds, and is the NCP ready to release all of that information? Who has donated to your party?
Why not? Yeah, yes, we're ready. I'm telling you, I have been on your show, and if you recall, I've said that my party will be the first one to disclose, and we have the records, and we are filing all the whatever taxes to be paid. We have the record with us, and if we are demanding that it should be transparent, then definitely we are opening it up. We are willing to disclose it. Why not? Let it be open for everybody. I mean, this is how it should work. This is how our country should work, and that's what we are aiming at.
Mr. Gandhi, here's the question, and it is, at the end of the day, justice delayed, because you did say, I mean, this was something that was thought up by Mr. Arun Jaitley, the late Arun Jaitley, in 2017. Information then, since then, RTI activists like yourself, like Anjali Bharadwaj, have had to scrape through the system looking for information on how this came about. We found out that the RBI had concerns, thinking this was not an idea. It was not a good idea. The government overrode those concerns, saying it's too late, we've already printed the bill. That was actually the response. The Election Commission had concerns, that was not paid attention to. Other political parties had concerns, that was not paid attention to either. And the government basically ran roughshod over all of these different agencies. Now, when the Supreme Court has said that this is unconstitutional, what is the value of this judgment now that has come so late? Fait accompli, a lot of things have already happened. A lot of money has already flown into the system. We're talking upwards of 9,000 crore rupees in the last, since 2016, if I'm not since 2019. Do you believe that this is justice denied as well because it's come so late?
Justice is being continuously denied each day in our courts of law. Article 14 is being given the go by. Article 19 1A is being given the go by. Article 21 is being given the go by. Over 4 lakh people are in prisons without convictions. And they are there because they are poor. And that's our country tolerates that, accepts that as a thing that we have to have rule of law. We rank 79th in the rule of law index worldwide. Unless we rank in the first 10, we cannot be a first-rate nation, no matter what we do economically, no matter what we do elsewhere. But on the transparency front, Faye, my deep pain has been that I have found most people, most institutions and individuals, everybody thinks transparency is good for the other person, not for themselves. 6 major political parties, including, I think, party, the Central Information Commission had ruled that they are public authorities and must come under RTI, and they do come under RTI as per the law. These parties did not follow the order, did not even go to court to challenge it. They did not even have a fig leaf. They just said, we won't follow. What the hell will you do? And that's the status right now. 6 major parties of my nation flout a commission order without even the fig leaf of saying we are in a legal process. And here I'm confident they will approach the court, ask for a review, find some way of delaying the whole matter, and God knows when the matter will get decided.
Faye?
Clyde, you want to respond to that? Yes.
Yeah, I actually had some other point, but when Shailesh Bhai speaks, you got to listen. So I quite be patient, listen. No, my point was, correct me if I'm wrong, but from what I was reading today, the Supreme Court has asked the State Bank of India, the SBI, to disclose the name of all the contributors that they contributed to this political party in the last 6 years, correct? Am I right? And they have to disclose it to the Election Commission of India, correct? Now, it sounds a little political, but let me tell you this. You think when you disclose this to the Election Commission of India, is the Election Commission going to actually scrutinize the whole thing and figure out that who are these contributors, party, or are they funding the political party for a reason? And if they come to know, if I'm really hoping, if they come to know that this person had no reason to fund besides a quid pro quo, so will the this entity or corporate house has no business to fund these people? That sounds a little different. So are they going to ask the agencies which the country is seeing now to take action against those corporate houses or those individuals? I don't think so. The way Election Commission has been operating in the last couple of years, they are only going by what the incumbent party is doing. So that's my question here.
I think that, whether it is a state election or whether it is a national election, the purpose of this order is to say that as citizens and voters, we are entitled to this information. We need to know.
They should.
So that I can
Absolutely.
decide, do I want a government that is going to want to be indebted to this particular corporate house? I think and I hope that as per the Supreme Court's order, this information becomes available to all of us. If and when it does, maybe a lot of the judgments, a lot of the decisions that are being made by different governments will actually become a little more obvious to us that this is where the money is coming from.
So there are two things I want to say for you. One is what the Supreme Court has done is a historic judgment. It has to be done. I mean, we have all the right to know this has to come out in the open. But at the same time, if it is disclosed and if it comes out that there was even a fraction of a quid pro quo or some kind of favoritism that is going on, then action should be taken there also, to whichever party it may be. When I'm talking, I'm talking with a lot of understanding when I'm saying things because it's applicable to me and my party too. So, but let's open it up. Somebody has to talk. I'm willing to talk. My party is willing to talk. I'm sitting here because my party has allowed me to talk about like this. Right? We are willing to it. So let there be transparency. Let there be openness about everything. So let the disclosure come from the Election Commission of India. But at the same time, I'm being a little pessimistic and saying, well, do you think the Election Commission of India will do its job? Because I don't think they're doing their job at the moment. You see what is
Okay.
going on around us.
Okay, let me take that question to Mr. Gandhi. Mr. Gandhi, do you believe that our agencies at this point are truly independent and fearless?
No. But Faye, having said that, I'm no admirer of the present regime or the earlier regime. I must confess one thing. Things have been arbitrary all along.
Yeah.
For the last 70 years, we've had arbitrary selection of everyone. Information commissioners, Human Rights Commission, judges, all these have been arbitrary exercises without displaying reasons. And I would not like to press the point with Clyde. He's a very
Hmm.
old and dear friend. But my friend, the Central Information Commission had ruled that your party is a public authority under RTI.
Yes.
Would you be
Yes.
willing to go that? I've tried to reach out to Aam Aadmi Party also because Arvind Kejriwal, with whom we work, made his name on RTI. But even he doesn't seem to be willing to do anything further.
So no. So
See a fundamental flaw in the judgment. People gave money thinking it's a secret.
Yeah.
There was a law. Now, if you can't even trust the law because the Supreme Court takes 7 years, I think we should also question the fact that Supreme Court must not take 7 years on things like this.
Yes. So
In fact,
effectively, Mr.
all
Gandhi,
delays must stop.
that's true.
are you saying, Mr. Gandhi, that a five-judge bench of the Supreme Court, including the current Chief Justice and two future Chief Justices, have given us a judgment that is left itself open to appeal?
I don't know where I've been transgressing the line as far as courts are concerned. But in 76, I have no desire to be in a court in a prison asking for a sipper.
Fair enough.
I'll be
Uh,
slightly careful on that one. But yes, I do believe the judgment has an error in it, which will be
No,
challenged, and there'll be other things that will challenge. See,
but
this clearly falls under the fiduciary relationship. You have a
hmm.
law, my God. If I have a law which guarantees something to me, and I act as per the law, with the belief that the law will be followed, and then 7 years later, the Supreme Court says, no, 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 this law is not okay. It should have been prospective, is my belief.
Okay.
It should not have been retrospective.
But will
Now,
you
so
take it? Yes, Clyde, go ahead.
no, Faye, the apprehensions that Shailesh Bhai is talking about, and I'm somewhat you also saying is that will it stand in the future? That's that's a point that needs to actually be looked into because in the past also, people who have held these kind of courts have gone on to join the BJP and have got bigger posts and have been ministers also. So I'm happy that a judgment like this has come from Justice Chandrachud, but in future you don't know. I'm specifically not taking names, because I don't want to do it here. But the point here is the past has shown us that these things could go wrong, and nothing stops it in the future. So the apprehension that Shailesh Bhai is putting forth, I think it could be a possibility because today we have a judgment. These judges will not be there forever. They are going to change. Their tenure is going to end. Somebody else comes over. We don't know what is going to happen. But for the sake of the country, something like this to stand the test of time. That's what I'm trying to say.
And final
and
question to Mr. Gandhi. Mr. Gandhi, if the Supreme Court has reiterated the citizens' fundamental right to know, can we take that as a win today?
unfortunately, the Supreme Court's own position on personal information in the RTI Act itself has been, at the
Contradictory.
very least, questionable. And these are questions that are not being discussed either by media or by individuals or civil society.
Mm.
And de facto, the law has been constricted. And now the personal data bill is going to do that further. Unless media and citizens act together to defend their fundamental rights, which we are not. We are being very casual about the right to information. I wish we took a different position on this. And
All right. Yes.
I
All
do
right.
feel,
Yes. Yes. Go ahead.
I do feel that the court has overstepped in terms of asking for retrospective disclosure, which
Hmm.
is obviously patently unfair even to a simple person. I think all three of us will agree that if there is a law and then 6 years later you are told, no, no, this law was wrong. Therefore, what assurances you got through law were wrong. And therefore,
Hmm.
now it will be displayed. I think we would all have a problem with that. And that is a valid issue.
Do I have 10 seconds, Faye? Just 10
Yes. Yes.
seconds.
It's
Okay.
the internet.
So
Yeah.
that yeah. So that's what I'm trying to tell you. You know, the innocent people of the country are getting caught in this whole crossfire because, like he said, there may be some really genuine people who want to fund a political party, and out of genuineness, they have given their money or whatever they want to do for the country. But now with this disclosure, even those people will come in the ambit of a suspicion as to why are you doing this? Why did you give the money? So that's what I'm saying. In something like this, across the country, innocents are suffering, and that's the fate of the people of our country right now. So I think this would really create a lot of problems.
All right. So we're going to leave it there, and I want to thank both of
15
you
seconds,
for
say
joining us.
15, say 15 seconds.
Yes. Yes, Mr. Gandhi.
The International Court of Justice in 2 months gave a decision on genocide.
Hmm.
The Indian Supreme Court takes over 7 years to decide on something like this. I'll give it to that.
True.
Okay. So we'll buy the sippers. Uh,
Okay.
on that commitment that the three of us will always buy sippers for each other if necessary, we're going to leave it there. Thank you for joining us in this conversation. And of course, this is not the end we're hearing of the electoral bond story. It is a can of worms that the Supreme Court has now decided to open within the next 3 weeks. Assuming that the can is actually open, we will be treated to a flood of information that is going to compromise a great number of people and a great number of political parties. It's very likely that a lot of these very powerful people are going to be working very hard to make sure that can is not opened and that information is not public. So every time there's an update, you'll hear about it right here on this channel. Also, at 7 o'clock this evening, we actually have Prashant Bhushan joining us as well to talk about this judgment. So come back at 7. In the meantime, Clyde Crasto and Shailesh Gandhi, thank you so much for joining me. Have a nice day.
Thank you.